All right, so we are group LeakTech, and this week we're going to talk about the lessons of steps 3 and 4. They are to flesh out a detailed description of the typical end user within your market segment that we identified in step 2, and then calculate the TAM or total addressable market size to determine quantitatively how large our market size is. So the purpose of detailing our end user is to make sure we are completely or that we completely understand who that person is so that we can address their specific needs and create a product for those needs and turn a profit faster. The purpose of calculating a TAM is to ensure that your target market is big enough for you to hit critical mass and get cash flow positive without being so big that you won't have enough resources to compete.
So they give us a couple characteristics that we have to look at for end users. It was mostly demographic stuff like gender and age range and income, location, motivation, stuff like that. A few real world examples were provided. One of them being the standard Sensable and its difficulties in finding info about its user demographics. The other was a ride sharing company in Russia and how they were not specific in their pursuit and ended up with such a wide range of users that they weren't able to properly answer who within it would actually want to use it or why. We have to avoid this if we want a successful product, because if we miss the demographic, then it's going to be awful to try and sell this product to somebody.
So in order to calculate TAM, you first have to determine how many end users fit the end user profile. This is best done through bottom-up analysis, which gets very specific and allows you to find where each potential customer is through customer lists and trade associations. Then by complementing that with top-down analysis, which uses secondary market research such as market analysis reports to determine how many end users meet the different characteristics, those findings can be confirmed. Then finally, by multiplying those findings by how much revenue each end user is worth per year, you get the TAM.
And then, so using this TAM, we need to understand what it means in our market. If your TAM is low, then you probably need to reconsider financial stability. For example, something under $5 million. In actuality, advisors, investors will see your TAM and calculate your product as being lower in value than what you calculated. A good TAM range to be between would be 20 and 100 million. Much lower starts to question viability, or as being too large, you might question if the TAM is accurate. It is okay to have a low TAM, but in these cases, you would want a product that has a large profit margin that don't require the cost to cover materials and labors as much, something more like a software. Again, TAM is an important factor and needs to be calculated correctly in order to give your business a successful start. It can be revisited to get better numbers and representation of your product. Eventually down the road, we'll transfer into the growth with the CAGR, which is the compound annual growth rate.
So to summarize and recap the lessons of steps 3 and 4, we need to know the little details of end user and decision-making units so that we know enough to build our businesses on them. Once we know enough about them, we need to calculate our TAM through bottom-up and top-down market analysis so that we know we have a market large enough to be successful, but not too large so that we spread our very limited resources too thinly to compete.